How much money can I make in the lawn care business? Stay tuned. We're going to tackle that question right now. I'm Frank, and I'm all about helping business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their lawn care business. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. What's going on, lawn care pros? Hey, today we're going to talk about how much money you can make in the lawn care business. Well, you know, the potential to make money in the lawn care business is really up to you, and the sky's the limit. But we're going to look at some numbers as you're starting out, or, you know, maybe you're looking at potentially starting out because you're working at a full-time job and you've been thinking, oh man, I'd like to own my own business, but I really don't know how much money I can make in the lawn care business. So we're going to kind of look at those numbers today and kind of give you a realistic expectation of, you know, what to expect in your first year and so on. So if you're a solo operator and you're looking at starting this business, you know, obviously you want to get the equipment, and I recommend, you know, getting the basic equipment: mower, edger, weed eater, and blower, and you're off to business. So, you know, obviously you want to get the DBA and all that good stuff, get your business registered and so forth. But in all reality, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to get started. And the question then becomes is, how much money can I make in this business? And we're going to tackle that by looking at, you know, a solo operator that's just starting out. You know, potentially you're going to be working, let's say, you know, 40, 50 hours a week. And I'm going to break those numbers down for you in really simple math, okay? Our goal, I'm in Texas, the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And when I was first starting out, my goal was to make approximately $40 per hour. And as a solo operator, that means you're making $40 per man hour. That means I am going out as a solo operator, I am mowing a lawn, I'm doing whatever, shrub trimming, flower bed, whatever that might be. And by the end of that 1 hour, I have made potentially $40, and that equates to $40 per man hour. And I'm putting it in really simple terms here because we're going to expand on that, and I want you to really get the foundation down of what it means when we talk about X number of dollars per man hour. So let's say that's our goal for now. You know, that might be different in your area. It might be different, you know, for the type of work you're doing, but we're really specifically talking about as you're starting out, you're getting into the lawn care business and you're doing like mowing and flower bed clean out and mulching and so forth. And specifically, we're going to really hone in on the mowing aspect so I can speak to you in terms of how many lawns you need and that kind of thing to make X number of dollars per year. So let's say, you know, here I am starting out, and I said, you know, honey, or, you know, your spouse or whatever, I want to get into the business, and, you know, I'm working 50, 60 hours a week at my job, and I'm making, you know, $50,000, $60,000 a year, or whatever it may be. Maybe I'm making $150,000 a year. So now we want to make a comparison to see if it makes sense for us to become a lawn care service provider and a business owner. So let's get into that. If I'm working, let's say 50 hours a week, and you know, I get into the lawn care business and I say, yes, I can do 50 hours a week. So we looked at our potential goal of making $40 per man hour, right? So if I can get enough business where I'm working 50 hours a week, right? And I'm making $40 per man hour. And that's me, because I am the man and I'm going to be doing the work. So that's the man hour part, right? So that's 50 hours times $40. And what does that equate to? That equates to $2,000 a week, right? So now if we can do that on a consistent basis, all 52 weeks of the year, or maybe you're going to take a 2-week vacation. So let's just, you know, round that down to 50 weeks, right? So I'm going to work 50 weeks. I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I'm going to do, you know, whatever I want to do, enjoy those 2 weeks. Now, if I'm working 50 hours a week and I'm making $40 per man hour, I'm making $2,000 a week, and I'm going to work for 50 weeks out of the year. That is, how much is that? Well, that's $100,000 a year, right? Now, that's not all profit, but here's the good part. As a solo operator, majority of that money is profit. And there's not a whole lot of equipment cost. The gas that's related to the business, as far as, the gas you use for the mowing and so forth, that's very minimal. And as you get route density, that's going to be, even less gas that you use for your truck, right? But ultimately, the cost associated with you running your business is very, very little when you're a solo operator. You're really trading at this point labor, right, for dollars. You don't have to worry about the employee aspect of it. You don't have to worry about, payroll, those kind of things, and, what's going on, with your margins. Now, again, as a solo operator, your margins are going to be exceptionally high. So, it's much easier to manage. Now, for clarification, you're not going to be mowing 52 weeks out of the year. Well, in this example, we were using 50, right? You're not going to necessarily be mowing 50 weeks out of the year. Like here in Texas, we are typically mowing 44, some of our accounts 46. So on those other 4 to 6 weeks, you will be able to supplement your income, or you will be able to produce that $2,000 like we were using for this example by doing other things: leaf cleanup, mulching, flower bed cleanup, those kind of things. So I just wanted to clarify that so you feel confident about the numbers that we were talking about. So let's go back to, the potential of making that $100,000. What is that going to take? How many lawns is that? Well, here in Texas, our typical lawns are going to be between 5,000 to, let's say, 7,000 square feet. The sweet spot's probably around 5,000 square feet as far as the lawn surface area goes. And we're going to charge around $40, and it's going to take us about 50 minutes, and we're going to allocate about 10 minutes for the drive or whatever we're doing. So ultimately, for simple purpose math, right, this is all, we're kind of doing this as a cookie cutter kind of a thing. So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible from the math aspect of it. Some lawns are going to be bigger, some lawns are going to be smaller. Some of them you're going to charge more, some of them you're going to charge less. But ultimately our goal, when I was first starting out, is going to be $40 per man hour. And your goal might be even higher. And like if I was starting out right now in 2021, my goal would be higher than $40 per man hour. But I want to make some realistic expectations, some attainable goals for you. So let's stick with the $40 per man hour and, dive in a little bit deeper. So what does that equate to? You've done that first lawn, and it's, it took basically an hour between your drive time and loading up and doing all the work, and you made the $40. And we wanted to, again, remember, we're going to work 50 hours a week. You can work more, or maybe you could work less, right? And that's going to, let you make more or less money. And so we're going to do the 50 hours as an example, right? So if you're working at 50 hours, you're basically doing, on the math that we just did, you're basically needing to get 50 lawns in order to make that happen, right? So let's do the math now. We're going to just keep breaking this thing down, right? So now I've got 50 lawns, and I know how much I'm making, and let's say that equates to about $100,000 a year. And, we're not going to talk about expenses today, but again, on the solo operator, it's very minimal. So if I had to throw a number in there, let's say our margins are 70, 75%. I know a lot of people are going to balk at that, but that is for a solo operator. That's not, if you're running a $2 million, $3 or $5 million company, your margins are going to be much less than that, right? So if you're making $80,000 a year, that's pretty good, right? So again, 50 lawns is our goal. Now let's break that down. The breakdown of that is, how many lawns is that per day? So if you're working 5 days, that's real simple math. You're doing about 10 lawns a day, right? If you're working 6 days, that's approximately, 8 lawns a day. So I'm throwing these numbers out to you so you can understand what it takes to get to that $100,000 mark, right? Now, you may want to say to yourself, well, or you might be thinking, well, you know, I'm already making 150,000, so that doesn't make sense for me. But then, you know, there's many aspects of to this game, and that's, you know, as you bring on new employees, you're gonna, you know, pay your employees $15 to $20 an hour, but you're still making that $40 per man hour, and that's where the growth opportunity comes. The margins will shrink, right? But your top line will increase, and if you do everything right, your bottom lines will increase, which means more money in your pocket. So really, this gives you a really good foundation of understanding your numbers, and you can kind of adjust that from there, right? We are, you know, throwing these numbers out as an example. So, you know, if you wanted to just work 25 hours a week, you have a good idea of what, you know, you can expect as far as how much you can make. Maybe you're just going to do it part-time. Okay, I'm going to do 20 lawns or 25 lawns, right? 25 lawns would be half of that, right? Half of the example that we gave today. Maybe I want to do 100 lawns, but now you're talking about, can I physically do 100 lawns by myself? And most likely the answer is no. And that's when we get to the next level. That's when we go from solo operator to, okay, I'm now ready to hire the next person, right? So for example, if you are going to hire an employee and you're still making that $40 per man hour, or that's what you're charging, right? And you are hiring an employee and you're paying them $15 an hour, you're making that difference, right? But now there's additional costs involved because you've added another truck or new equipment or additional equipment and so forth. And that's where we talk about margins. But now let's go back to what we were talking about, which was the solo operator, you know, working, you know, 50 hours a week, charging $40 per man hour, you know, making that $2,000 a week, that $100,000 a year as far as the gross income, back out, you know, margins of 75, 80%. Maybe you're making like $75,000 to $80,000 a year. How does that appeal to you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Is that worth, you know, getting into business for myself and doing that? Maybe you want to spend a lot of time with your family, right? Or go fishing or whatever it may be. Maybe you're, you know, this is just supplemental income. Again, you can do that as well. But this gives you a really good foundation of understanding your numbers and, you know, clarifying to yourself before you jump into this, how much can I potentially make in the lawn care business? Now, again, going back, there are companies that make millions and millions of dollars. And that goes back to, you know, multiple employees and such, right? And that's something we can talk about, and that's what you have to explore, but you have to get started, right? And no better time to get started than right now. I just want you to understand, you know, the basic foundation of how to get started and, you know, how much you can expect to make, right? I also did a video for you guys right up here on how to price a lawn when it comes to lawn mowing, right? You want to make sure that you're pricing that correctly in order to get those, you know, get the premium out of what you're doing. Again, the sky is the limit, but I really wanted you to understand the basic foundations of, you know, how do we get from point A to B. Drop some comments below. Let me know what you're making as far as, or, you know, when you first started out, maybe we can help out some of the other people in the community. If you've been in the business for a while or you're just starting out, maybe you have some questions and we can definitely expand on this. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. I'll see you next time, Lawn Care Pros.